Hello everyone and welcome back to another instalment of our barn conversion series.
We may be smiling now, but this week has been incredibly stressful. We are fighting against gale force winds, gale force rains. We even got a message off the government telling us to basically hunker down and stay away because it's about to get dangerous.
Yeah, it's not exactly the ideal weather to be building a place in, especially when your roof is going on, which has got to be the most important part of the whole build.
But in this video, we're going to show you exactly what happened.
We're the indie project, Bee and Theo, and we've been living and travelling the world in vans for the past 6 years. We're currently renovating an abandoned stone barn in Portugal to turn it into a beautiful tiny home for us and our cat, Ginjey Bear. Follow our journey from the very beginning as we document the whole process of creating an off-grid home.
So as the season's changing, we've been getting questions from you guys in the comments saying, what's the weather like in Portugal during the autumn and the winter? And the answer is, it's actually pretty nice during the day. It's quite warm. You can still wear shorts and a t-shirt, but there's always a but. Obviously, there's some bad weather to come. The evenings get cold, which is totally fine, actually quite a nice break, but you get rain and you get wind, and the storms that blow through are always really extreme. They last for a couple of days and they can cause a lot of havoc. Usually you'll see trees blown over, even houses, so that's something that we're really taking into consideration right now, because obviously we're building our home. We don't want one of these storms to hit midway through.
So in the last video we had a lot of people asking us about the cladding and a lot of comments saying, why don't you speed up the process by going to the store and buying a nail gun? And we did think about this, but to buy a proper nail gun that's worth owning, that's only going to be used on this project for 2 days, it just wasn't worth it. It was cheaper to get another person involved, and I needed another person up on the roof helping me with the cladding anyway. So it's a no-brainer really. We can do without a nail gun. We can do it the old-fashioned method, and actually it would have only sped up the process by probably a few hours. We managed to do the cladding, the whole roof, in 2 days, which I don't think is too bad. We couldn't have done it any quicker anyway because we're all working around each other. So in the end, it was cheaper and more effective in the process that we're doing.
The only chance of swapping new levels is mixing the
So the first part of the cladding is the most important. So Jack and Sam are going to go up on the roof. They're going to measure down from the ridge beam to the wall and get a nice square measurement. Then they're going to run a string line across so that we can follow the first row of cladding to that string line, and then the whole way up the cladding should be level with the ridge beam, because the worst thing to be would be to get to the top of the ridge beam and all the angles be off. There's lots of lines in the cladding that you're going to be able to see from inside the house, so it's really important to get this right. Yeah, there's a gap there, it'll push it.
So So the current situation with the barn conversion right now is we've got Theo and Sam on the back of the barn adding the brand new cladding, and on the front of the barn, on the bit that they've already cladded, we've got Marley and Jack adding the cork insulation and then the Tyvek on top of it, and Kevin's inside the barn working on the last piece of stonework so it can reach up to the rafters.
So we have now received our custom brackets that are going to hold the posts for our veranda, which is quite exciting. So we're going to have a really nice big outdoor covered area out the front of the barn. So Jack and Kevin are going to get to work and install them. They need to line them all up, make sure they're all square, and then they're ready to be fixed in place.
Good job.
Right now it is all hands on deck. Everyone is working to get the roof watertight because the storm is literally on its way. We've been keeping an eye on the weather forecast, and every single day it looks like it's just going to get worse and worse. So they're all working together now to get the cork on, to get the Tyvek on, and just try and get it watertight, because it would be absolutely heartbreaking if all of this work was for naught and the rain got in and just trashed it all.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I did, Kev, I put it on the end. Yeah. More big nails there than Yeah, it does have the tape.
Yeah. Are you there?
Right. And a standing knife, maybe. Alright, so you stand on the top.
Over there.
Over there.
You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain. You're like a piece of heaven in a hurricane, and it's bubbling over like a sweet champagne. You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain. All day long, right or wrong, you
Whilst Theo's working on the barn, I've just popped into the van to get it ready because we're going to be moving back in here from the caravan as the seasons change, because we've got a lovely double bed and a fantastic diesel here in here. But I wanted to take a minute to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Now, if you don't know what Squarespace is, it's a brilliant online platform where you can build and design your very own website. You don't have to have any experience with website design because they've got so many different templates. You can choose one perfect to you and then customize it so it's exactly how you want it to be. We love our website with Squarespace because we can host our podcast on there, which is fantastic. We've got a blog on there, loads of different posts going on about what we do, and then we've also got our shop, so it's a brilliant place to have everything that we need online and our own little corner of the internet. So if you want to try out Squarespace, you can have a 14-day free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Just head to squarespace.com/indieprojects or hit the link in our description.
So right now, this is worst case scenario. We are currently standing in storm force winds, storm force rain. This is hideous. This is not what was meant to happen. The rains have hit, the storms have hit, and to be honest, like, I just don't know what to do. It was left with the Tyvek on, and I put an extra membrane over the top of the Tyvek, but I've just been up to check it out and see how it is. And you know, the vapor barrier that I put on top of the Tyvek has been ripped off in one area. The Tyvek is ripped, somehow has ripped, so now it's just the cork protecting the tongue and groove. I spent so much money on this project, and this is horrendous. Watching this happen live and being helpless. You know, I've done everything I possibly can do to wrap this building up, but you can't fight against a storm. It's near impossible, and we were always going to lose, and now we just have to sit it out and we just have to wait and see. But it's not good at all. It's really not good. So this is the vapor barrier that I put on top of the good vapor barrier. So we have another layer of protection under this, but you can see it's ripped off from the other side. I can't get up there. I tried to go up on the scaffold and it's just too dangerous in the wind. I was getting blown everywhere. I put stones all the way around the edges to try and keep the wind from getting up underneath it and to protect the tongue and groove cladding so that doesn't get ruined. It started to flap up here, so I had to redo this bit, and had some success on the sides. I've put tiles all the way up the sides to try and protect the tongue and groove, because the tongue and groove is exposed under that. There's no vapor barrier under that, and you can see around this side it's really flapping. The winds are right now going to get up to 100 kilometers an hour, which is just scary to think about. You can see the tiles that I put there that I'm hoping, I really hope them tiles are doing something to protect. But like I said, around this side we've got a hole in the vapor barrier. So just up there where the tiles are, about a foot into the roof of the building, there's a hole, and that goes directly through to the cork. The cork, you know, I don't know how well the cork's going to stop the water coming through. I just don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. It literally feels like a nightmare has come true. Right now I'm standing in a nightmare, trying to hold back tears because I've already had blood, I've already had sweat, so the tears are always going to come on a project like this. You know, I put my heart and soul into this project and it means the world to me. This is our home, and to see it getting smashed around like this and potentially money wasted, it's heartbreaking. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see in here, but so far the roof looks like there's no water coming through, but I really hope it stays that way. It's early days and I've got everything crossed that it's going to stay dry and the cladding won't get destroyed, because to redo the cladding would be a nightmare. But you can see here where the walls aren't yet pointed, so you can see the water's coming through the wall. That's not necessarily a problem low down there. It's coming through the wall down there and a bit through the wall there. There's pools of water starting to form inside the barn, which are coming from over here through the door. It's getting pushed through the door and it's creating pools of water inside, so I better move that lime up to a higher area, and just all I can do now is sit tight.
This is obviously really hard for both of us because we've both put a lot of effort into this, but it's especially hard for me seeing Theo going through all of this because he is the one who has been physically labouring over the barn. I know I've been filming it, but he's there day in, day out, starting so early, just constantly grafting to get our house done. And to see him put all his effort in and then be so upset because the weather's just trying its hardest to try and ruin it is really sad to see. So I really do hope that it's all going to be okay, but time will tell, I suppose.
And this is the aftermath of the storm. It's made the work site look even messier than it actually was, and we've got a nice big rip in our tent, which is always nice to know. Hopefully maybe we can repair that, but it just seems like it's going to keep on ripping. Time to get the duct tape out, I reckon. So we've just come out to do some filming because there was a gap in the rain and it's just started raining again, which is just excellent. We're currently standing behind our outhouse, which we have a gutter which feeds into this 1,000-litre water tank. You guys might recognise this tank from the summer. This was our plunge pool and we moved it down here just to collect some more water while the rain came, and this is a 1,000-litre tank and it filled up in 24 hours, so you can see how much rain we had over that period. It's pretty crazy. The barn walls are completely soaked and we get a lot of people asking why we need to point the barn, and this is the reason. At the moment it's just been pointed with like earth and mud, whatever they could get their hands on really, and you can see it's not watertight at all. It's just breaking apart. As soon as it gets wet, it just falls apart and it allows the moisture to come straight through the wall. So I think what we're going to have to do is point the outside before we plaster the inside. Play nice, you two, come on. You can be friends. Where are you off to? Come on guys, play nice. Come on. Ooh, Ginjey, come on. Fernando is always just unfazed by Ginjey and just wants to play. But Ginjey is really not happy. at all. This is her patch and she's making him aware of that for sure.
Hey baby, you trying to play with Ginjey Bear? Ginjey Bear is completely and utterly uninterested. Oh. Hey Gij, you okay? I promise you he'll calm down in a bit. You gonna calm down, Fernando? As predicted, Fernando's coming back, pretending he wants to play with a rock. Oh, and there we go. Ginjey's usually pretty good at handling him. It's usually when he charges her face she gets annoyed.
The way he jumps.
So this isn't something I usually say, but I'm actually really happy to see the end of this week and I don't want to see it ever again.
It has been quite stressful, well, really stressful, and we've still got a couple of days rain to contend with, but it's not going to be anywhere as bad as what we've been through already.
Yeah.
I've had time to sit down and just think about how lucky I am to be able to build my own home. So, you know, I've taken lots of positives from this. We've learnt lots of things along the way, and I think everything's going to be okay. Fingers crossed anyway. You just have to tune in for the next episode to find out what happens to our roof and if we get them tiles on.